One of the drills I know that you do would be having the club, right?
Yeah, so
as
if
a little
you
checkpoint.
could hold that club where it would just go like right through just below my shoulder right there.
Yeah.
And I should be able to swing back and through and not hit it.
Gotcha. So, the angle of the club is on the shoulder.
Yeah,
is that fair?
just on the shoulder, a touch below it.
Yeah.
And it's just giving a golfer a reference point that, okay, wow, I want to make sure my hands and my arms move around me.
Yeah.
And there's no
Upward.
lifting.
And so if someone, let's say I'm not here and they're by themselves, they could do, the alignment rod type of deal, put a stick to their bag.
And they could take the tees. I have tees here. You could take 2 tees, put them underneath your arms.
Yep.
And that gives you the same sensation that your arms are like tight to your body. And that helps me. Now all I have to feel like I'm doing is I'm just doing a little bit of my shoulder retracting, a little bit of hip turn, and my arms are staying down. There's no lifting to miss that club.
I want to talk to you today about Live View Golf. Now you guys hear me say all the time that you need feedback when you're practicing. You need to know if you're actually doing what you're trying to do, and the best way to give yourself feedback ultimately is video. And not only is video the best way to give yourself feedback, but being able to see yourself simultaneously as you're doing a movement is the best form of video feedback. It's the best way I've seen to make changes in your swing and be able to correlate the differences between your feels and your reels. Live View is super easy to use and set up. Simply set it up behind or in front of you. You connect it with your iPad or phone, pop that on the ground. You can actually do your practice, see yourself as you're doing it, the best way to expedite your process. I encourage you guys to check out Live View Golf. We'll put a link in the description down below with a coupon code. Hey guys, Eric here, back outside at the Bethlehem Golf Club. In today's video, we're going to talk about how the arms and hands should work and how they work in the backswing, pros versus AMs, or what Steve and I see amongst higher handicap players versus better ball strikers, lower handicap players. And here with me to my left, Mr. Steve Saraki. Some of you guys have seen Steve in some of our previous videos. You'll see him some more in our future videos. Steve coaches at a Woodcrest Country Club in New Jersey for in-person lessons, and we coach together online at CogornoGolf.com. Would love to work with you there. We'll put Steve's info and Cogorno Golf info in the description down below. So Steve, in today's video, arms and hands during the backswing.
Yep.
This is another one where we see pretty clear correlations amongst better ball strikers versus higher handicap levels. In particular, the direction or their arms and hands, whether they go up or in, and then sort of the amount of both of those.
Right.
So what we'll do is we're going to give some checkpoints for where we'd like people to be, what the common errors are, and then 2 or 3 simple drills they can use to be able to start to correct.
Sure, let's just trade.
So maybe if we do the checkpoint version first, what are we looking for? And then what do we normally see as the error? Yeah,
so I would say from down the line, the first checkpoint would be as the golfer starts to swing back. By the time the shaft's parallel to the ground, P2 to P2.5, the hand should just be hitting, say, going through the belt line. Like right through the belt line would be the first one.
Love that.
And then by the time the left arm is parallel to the ground, your hand should be going right through your bicep. So the hand should be dissecting the bicep. That tells the golfer if they're having enough inward motion versus upwards.
Yeah, perfect.
And typically we would see more vertical than in with what we're coaching every day.
And so the air, if we do our setup one more time, Steve, the air would be the hands traveling too far outside and too far up.
Correct.
Right? Not in enough.
Correct.
And would you say kind of the first thing to look for if you don't have appropriate depth or in enough would be the turning component?
That's what I would say, definitely the turning part.
And maybe as a checkpoint thing, if we talk a little bit about how that trail shoulder should work.
Yeah, right. So if I go and I was facing the camera, and you put that club right up and down my spine right there, as I swing back, my trail shoulder, my right shoulder should get to that or go beyond it. Hit 90 or just past it.
Let's do one more from that same angle. I'll just do it from the front angle so you can see. So if we kind of drew a straight line right up the center of your body.
Correct. As I go back, my right shoulder should get to it or go past it.
Right.
And if my right shoulder keeps retracting behind me to get to 90, that's going to make my hands go more around me.
Yeah, perfect. Let's do one at the golf ball, Steve, one more time. And so from this viewpoint, if the golfer kind of drew a straight line on a video or like you said, a piece of tape maybe
in a mirror,
they would want to see the right shoulder on this side.
Get to it or go beyond it.
Closer to the target than the lead shoulder.
Correct.
And that would help them, as you mentioned,
take the hands more around you, because most of the golfers that we'll see is only turn their shoulders, say 40, 50 degrees right here, and their hands are never in enough. Yeah. Now if I add a little bit more of the retraction of the shoulder, see how my hands go much more around me.
Absolutely.
And I get 30 more degrees of shoulder turn.
And the reasons we want this, going back to the basics, the more in, right?
Yep.
Would be for
more power, first off, the basic component. Taking the club more round you is going to help the power.
Yep.
Then it's going to help the club come down more from the inside for the drawing, pushing and drawing, and hit your longer clubs higher.
Yeah. So typically we see a correlation with the golfers that do that the best, have the highest potential to hit the ball the farthest.
Right.
Hit the draw motion, right? Hit it the highest, farthest with more draw.
A good example on the tours, you know, Ricky Fowler, he's a little guy, hits the ball very far. He's got his hands like way around him.
Yeah. Yeah,
he's a little dude hitting it, you know, 300 plus.
And if they're filming from down the line, those checkpoints they can check with a camera pretty easily.
Yes.
And one of the drills I know that you do would be having the club, right?
Yeah. So if you could hold that club where it would just go like right through just below my shoulder, right there.
Yeah.
And I should be able to swing back and through and not hit it.
Gotcha. So the angle of the club is on the shoulder.
Yeah,
is that fair?
just on the shoulder, a touch below it.
Yeah.
And it's just giving a golfer a reference point to, okay, wow, I want to make sure my hands and my arms move around me.
Yeah.
And there's no
upward
lifting.
And so if someone, let's say I'm not here and they're by themselves, they could do, you know, the alignment rod type of deal, put a stick to their bag.
And they could take the tees. I have tees here. You could take 2 tees, put them underneath your arms.
Yep.
And that gives you the same sensation that your arms are like tight to your body. And that helps me. Now I have to feel like I'm doing is I'm just doing a little bit of my shoulder retracting, a little bit of hip turn, and my arms are staying down. There's no lifting to miss that club. And
I would say some of the golfers we see like to blame flexibility for the inability to get deep enough and far enough.
Yep.
When in fact I think if you change the flex in your legs, if you retract the trail shoulder, we can get the club plenty deep enough pretty much regardless of...
Yeah, I would say if you could do those 2 parts, the knee flex, the hip turn, so it starts from the ground up, do your knee flex, turns the hips, helps get the shoulders start moving around you. You'll see you can get a golfer 75 years old to get 30 degrees of hip and shoulder turn in 5 minutes if he's done the right procedure.
And the majority of golfers we see like, hey, is this for me or not? Like a simple way to tell would be record yourself from down the line, check your checkpoints compared to what we said. And if you struggle to hit, if you want more distance.
If you're not hitting high enough, far enough, not drawing.
Swinging over the top too much.
Right. Slicing, this would be something good for them to look at.
To work on, And so I really like from the face-on view, let's just reiterate that one more time. We're drawing the line basically right down the middle of your body through your shirt buttons.
Right down the midpoint.
And the trail shoulder gets target side.
To the target or beyond it.
Perfect. And that's going to help us with the turn component get the hands up and in enough.
Correct.
From down the line here, a human being like me holding the stick, which would be expensive for most people, or figuring out how to put they could do the alignment rod through the ground, through the bag, etc.
The tees
or
too.
the tees. Be able to feel the tees in. And when you feel the tees in, Steve, when you're doing this backswing part, what's getting your arms and hands up, feels like less of your arms doing much. It's more the body component.
And the flexing in my right arm gets the club up.
Perfect.
But for somebody that's doing this for the first time that might have a tendency to lift their arms, it might feel like your hands are on your waist. That's what it might feel like, but then when you take the photo, it's not going to be there.
And just last on that piece, kind of the real versus feel. Someone who goes too up, arms get too disconnected, too vertical that we would want, they may in the beginning likely feel like their hands are going around their hip, like it's drastically in and low.
And it's not enough.
Right, exactly.
It's not enough.
And so you always have to give yourself feedback from the down the line component to be able to tell that. So I love that. I think that's 3 really simple, effective, easy feedback for the average golfer to be able to use to start to hit the ball farther, get more of the draw pattern, hit it higher, farther, more speed. So that's perfect. Steve, thanks, man. That was awesome.
You got
it. Thank you. Hey guys, thanks for watching today's video. If you liked the video, do us a favor, click that like button down below. It really helps us out. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And if you do want some more personal coaching from Steve and I, we would love to see you at cogornogolf.com. We're going to put 2 cards on the screen. One of the cards here is going to be a similar video to the one you just watched. Give you a little more detail and info if you like these YouTube videos. If you do want more coaching, want to check out cogornogolf.com, we'll include the logo here on the screen. Go ahead and click that and we'll see you there.